Baby, it's cold inside.
So, welcome for the 2021 Frog Racing season highlights with Margaret the Princess and Manu the Frog. Um, New this year in the cars, not much on the rally side, same cars that were winning last season. A new daily slash recce car.
The newest one. This is my 2020 STI baby.
And since we didn't have any unlimited space in the garage, we had to let go one of the cars. So
Yeah, he forced me to sell my 04 recce car that we called Cinderella. That was a sad day.
and but it stayed in the family. Jenny, our co-driver, bought the car.
Yeah,
So
Jen bought the car, so I still get to drive it once in a while.
we're gonna walk you through what happened this season, the different events we entered. Our goal for 2021 was Rally Mount Washington. That was the highlight of our season. That's what we were working for. So we didn't participate in our usual stage rally to dedicate our time in preparing the cars to the best we could for hill climbs. So usually in the winter, we try to do some ice racing, and 2 years in a row, unfortunately, with AMAC, the weather hasn't been cooperating, and we couldn't get any ice race. So our first event of the season was actually a winter rally sprint at Timonial.
Yeah, I stuffed it in a snowbank.
It was fun practice since Personnage got cancelled. That was our winter rally event. So we won the overall with Mike, Mike the driver. So that was a good replacement for Personnage. And after that, at the end of the ice racing season, there is a racing group in Jaffrey, New Hampshire, that has lake races on their lake every weekend. It's a big oval track, and they invited AMEC to come run the street legal class with them that weekend. So we went up there with our daily drivers. Our recce cars basically. Margaret had still Cinderella at the time. I had the tadpole, and it was very different from what we were used to. It's a novel track. It's not a real more road racing track like AMEC does, but we had a good blast. Our friends were there, Sherlock Star, Meat Sports, and we had a good fight. Between all of us, we won all the races. I think I won a bunch, and Catherine for the Meat Sport won the rest of the races that day.
Yeah, I totally sucked. I forgot how to drive on ice. It's been 2 years.
And yeah, that was just something to be able to get out of the garage and the shop for during COVID, and at least having an event this winter. So that was good fun. And then the spring arrived, and so we're starting to be running full prep mode for the cars, and we went to our friends at Round Lake Auto in New York to tune the cars on the dyno. Our in-house tuner, Ray from Turbotech Tuning, tuned the car remotely on the dyno, and Radzik from Round Lake Auto was doing the tools and doing the second hand on the tuning. And so we fine-tuned the car on 93, and then we only had a winter blend of E85, which was actually just E58, but good enough to do the tune and steal the car on the dyno with that. And we were planning on running a synthetic E85 from Mount Washington, so we got a drum of synthetic E85 from Round Lake Auto, and that's what we ran at Mount Washington for the summer. So our first event to test the car running on E85 was Hill Cross event put together by Mike Ruggiero from NIHA. That was at Club Motorsport in Timesworth, New Hampshire. And it was basically a very long autocross course on the track So you would do basically a full lap of the track from pit out to pit in. And so that was great practice because
Well, the track has a lot of turns and hills.
yeah, a lot of elevation changes, so it's very similar to what we see at hill climbs. And it was a pretty cold day, but it was great for us to get back on tarmac, get practice, and actually also refine the tunes. We had to kind of tune a bit the wastegate duty cycle so that we didn't get in overboost situation and stuff. So we learned a lot, and we brought different sets of tires to see what would be the best suited for Mount Washington. So we had a different set of tires, and we had some good adventures too. What happened?
So on the last run of the day, I asked Emmanuel to co-drive with me to push me faster because I heard a rumor that you could go flat out through one section of the elevation change if you hit all the turns properly. So I wanted that extra push motivation to go faster. So I was doing 100 miles an hour and I didn't realize I was off the course. I was off the racing line, and Manu yelled at me to stay in. I'm like, okay, I'm staying in, and I still had it floored, and then I realized I was off the line and heading towards the cement wall and off onto the grass, but I was able to maneuver it. Get back on track without hitting anything and save the car and Emmanuel because it was his side that was going to hit the wall. So that was an exciting day and
yeah, not too many repairs to do after that. That was good.
we found the tire choice that we were going to use for Mount Washington, so that was a good outcome. Also, with a training video on what not to do and then what to do to get out of a dangerous situation. That's a good video to watch.
Yep.
Good learning experience.
Then after that, we started the real first hill climb of the season, which was Mount Ascutney. And it was good to get back on a real hill climb. It's one of the bumpiest hill climb. Actually, it is the bumpiest hill climb of the series. And so it was good to test the suspension and the setup of the cars. The cars went great, performance-wise.
It was pretty unremarkable.
Yeah. I was a little bit disappointed with the performance of my car on the 85. Wasn't really able to improve the performance compared to what I was running on 93 octane. So
Do you know why?
I think we didn't push as the boost was not ramping up as fast as it could have been. We were a little bit too conservative on the tune, so we pushed the tune a little bit more for the next event at Burke. So the second hill climb of season at Burke before Mount Washington. At the end of Burke, we thought we were already running good and we're confident we're ready for Mount Washington. So we skipped racing for New England Forest Rally because New England Forest Rally schedule. I mean, both.
It was just a week and a half before Mount Washington.
Because Mount Washington got rescheduled after NEFR, so
there's no way we would have time to get the cars ready.
Yeah, and the setup we use for hill climb is pretty different from the one from gravel, and we didn't want to damage the cars at NEFR to run and be able to run Mount Washington 2 weeks later. So NEFR this year, earlier in the year I passed the exam to become a scrutineer with ARA. So I became an official scrutineer. I was a scrutineer at NEFR. Margaret helped also with the scrutineering and volunteering around with the service and fuel depot and stuff like that. And at the same time, I also crewed for our friends at Shark Star Racing on the car during the race. So we got the full event volunteering there. We had a great time. And then after that, it was time for Climb to the Cloud. So we packed up and went to Climb to the Cloud.
Right, and if you've never been to Climb to the Cloud, it's one of the most epic events we've ever participated in.
And that was basically one of the first events of the year where I was back with full spectators and everything. So there was quite a bit of attendance. Travis came back with the new car that Subaru.
The Air Slayer.
Yeah, the Air Slayer Subaru built for the event, and actually it was great during practice. For some reason, just by luck of getting in line, Travis ended up just being behind Margaret, and in front of me was Chris between the two of us, so that made for some great pictures and some great jokes in the paddock.
Yeah, definitely some great jokes in the paddock. When I said, "Are you please going to give me extra time?"
Yeah.
And then they said, "No, everyone only gets 45 seconds." So I was stressing over that.
Well, yeah, no, they give plenty of time for Travis. So
Actually, I think they gave me 2.5 minutes ahead.
And so practice went well. We were chasing on the last day of practice leak issue on Frogster, and actually there was a clamp on the intercooler that did slide and was creating a small leak, and we spent the whole afternoon after practice chasing it down and finally fixed it in the evening. Took the car for a road test, and it was working great. So we were hoping for really good performance for race day. And so on race day, Margaret did an excellent first run, beating her previous record by over a minute, and actually setting up the time for fastest female driver ever, Mount Washington. So an absolutely fantastic result.
Yeah, I was surprised during the practice days how well I did compared to some other people. We did have a little bit of rain, we had some fog, but I think the racing or rally racing experience helped for practice. But yeah, on the race day, I improved my time by a minute from the previous run in 2017, and I broke the record for fastest female driver ever at Mount Washington, and that was pretty exciting.
Yep, really a fantastic result there.
So I have something in common with Travis.
Yeah, Travis fastest male, Margaret fastest female. And things didn't go very well for Frogster on the first run. We spun a bearing probably around what the corner there, first spectator point basically. So before Cragway, the car was already down on power, and getting in the dirt section on Cragway, coming out back to asphalt, stepped back on the gas, and there was nothing. I had to go back in first gear of the car. I wasn't moving, and I had to lean the car all the way to the top. It's too bad because we really were flying on the bottom section, and we are running a completely stock engine with stock internals, and the increase of torque we got from E85 was too much for the stock internals, so we spun the bearing there. We were able to limp the car all the way to the top, and actually we did a time of 7:17, which at the end of the first run was still the fastest time in class. And on the second run, Dave Wallingford was there with his Fiesta R5, and he beat me by like half a second on the second run, and so I ended up in second place.
But what was exciting, frog racing, we both made the podium against an R5. So that was a dream come true.
Yeah, we are super happy with the result. We never expected to have both cars on the podium.
Yeah, so we were so excited.
It was a busy class too, with 8 competitors. So it was we are really happy with the results. And we had our sponsors there, Killer Bee, came to visit us, Dave Manco, who helped us also for that event, on top of all the others who have been year round, like Cobb and Subi Solutions and Turbotech Tuning. So,
And Fred Duell and
yeah.
our usual crew guys.
Yeah, all the crew came. It was we had a very large crew to help us with Mount Washington, and Joe and all those guys did a fantastic job. So we're really grateful. And so all the rest of the season was really bonus. Um, we after Mount Washington, we still had goal to do Pikes Peak next year. So we have the dedicated time car Frogger that I took for testing at Palmer, the track in Palmer, and during testing, the car starting to sputter. I had to pull over, and the car caught on fire. It ended up being a bolt that got loose on the fuel rail. The fuel rail lifted and sprayed fuel everywhere in the engine bay, and it catch on fire. Grateful for the crew at the Palmer track who helped, and the fire trucks who came, and we were finally able to get the fire under control. It ended up doing quite a bit of damage to the car, but the engine was salvageable and most of the car was salvageable. So we're working on fixing the car still. And so to finish the hill climb season with Niha, I didn't have an engine in my car anymore after the engine blew up at Mount Washington. So since the engine block, the short block was still good from the Pikes Peak car, I decided to reuse that engine and put it in the rally car. The heads were not compatible, so I took the heads from the blown engine, put them on the short block from the Pikes Peak car, and put that together. And we went to the last hill climb of the season, the Ascotney hill climb, with both cars. So Margaret's car was running like a champ, and she beat her fastest time again at that event. And the new engines went fantastic for me. It took a bit of adjustment because the torque curve was a little bit different, and I had Maggie from Sherrod Star who co-drove for me at that event because my usual co-driver Mike just got married before and was on a honeymoon that weekend.
It wasn't available.
And so we ended up setting actually the fastest, the record for the class at Ascotney that weekend, so beating by like 4 or 5 seconds. So the car was really running good. And
you forgot we went to Wicked Big Meat.
yes, but was that after Ascotney? Yeah, or around that time. Our sponsor, Killer Bee Motorsport, asked us if we could come bring the car to Wicked Big Meat. So yes, I must have been before because we didn't bring my car. It had the blown engine still. I don't think I had the new engine.
Right. Well, my car's prettier, anyways.
Yeah. So we brought the Princess at Wicked Big Meat.
Yeah, and I got to meet Bucky Lasik, which was cool.
And he interviewed you.
Yeah, he interviewed me and showed me on his video of Wicked Big Meat.
And we had a great event with the guys at Killer Bee. They're already great. And they are helping us also with our Pikes Peak build, with their headers and all the goodies they have, the oil pan and pickup. We're already running our oil pickup and and baffles on all our cars, but we are also using their high flow coolant elbow and reservoir and stuff for the Pikes Peak car. So that's a lot of help from them too. We're really grateful to have them as a sponsor. And after that, it was back to gravel configuration for the cars. So we had Ready Sprint for testing. It was in October at Tim O'Neill. And the Ready Friendsgiving, so just a few weeks before Thanksgiving. Actually, it
was a weekend before Tall Pines.
A weekend before Tall Pines, correct. And so we went there. Cars were running great. No issue on Fox's side. Margaret had.
Well, I had a DNF because the support holding my battery broke, and then the battery slammed into my positive control on my kill switch. and just killed the car. And we couldn't figure out at first what happened to it.
And so that was great. It happened before Tall Pines, so that we could fix that in time for Tall Pines, build a new battery box attached to the frame. And,
yeah, because that would have really sucked if it happened at Tall Pines.
Yeah. And so we got that all fixed, and the cars were ready for Tall Pines, and we went to Tall Pines the week after. Actually, the Rally Sprint was the first time my new co-driver, Mike Morbois, French Mike, co-drove for me, and I was training him to co-drive for Tall Pines, which was his first event as a co-driver.
Actually, it was our first gravel event of the whole year.
Yes, it was. So that was good to get back on gravel, and was good to get some practice before Tall Pines. And the weather was kind of what we were expecting at Tall Pines, kind of mushy with a little bit of snow on the sides of the road. And we weren't sure if Tall Pines would be like the last edition, snowy and icy, or just gravel. And the weather forecast, it looked like it was really gravel, so we went up there with a gravel tire, still had the snow tires as spares, just in case the weather turned bad, but it actually stayed dry.
It ended up being our gravel event.
Yeah, it ended up being a gravel event, so...
which was great, because after having no ice racing practice for 2 years...
So there's a full recap video of the Tall Pines event, so we're not going to spend too much time here, but Margaret did awesome and finished 8th overall. We had issues in the Frogster where we hit a rock like on the 5th or 6th stage, and that broke the control arm in half, and we had to limp the car basically until the end of the rally with some damage. So we still ended up finishing the rally, which was great, but we probably finished. I probably finished last in class or close to. I mean, we accumulated.
You finished second to last.
Yeah, we accumulated a bunch of penalties. Got out of service like 20 minutes late with the repairs and stuff, but we were able to finish, which was the goal. To do our first national Tall Pines and finish it, so that was good. And Margaret really got a great result with 8th overall. So.
And we need to work on our speed factors in Canada.
So that was the end of our racing season. I mean,
for 2021.
For 2021, and now we are planning for 2022. So Personnage is suspended at the moment with COVID in Quebec. They suspended all the events. We're not sure if Personnage is going to happen or not. On the same weekend, there is the new sanctioning body, US Rally Sport Federation, who is having a rally sprint in Pennsylvania, winter rally sprint. So we might do that event if Personnage doesn't happen. Actually, on the other news, I'm also the technical director for US Rally Sport, so we're helping this new sanctioning body take off and put their events next year.
Well, you also took over the position for the Rallycross.
Oh yeah, so I'm also taking over for the NER SCCA Rallycross program. I'll be the chairman for at least the next year, transitioning from Scott Carlson, who did a fantastic job for many years.
I don't know where you're going to find the time to do that.
Yeah, that's going to be a busy season, and probably also still scrutineering for ARA as needed. But so our goal in the beginning of the season, hopefully we'll have ice racing with AMEC. That's what it would be great to have a ice racing season. Then Personnage or the US Rally Sport event. And then after that, there is not going to be much until the summer, unless some events like Lanark are going to come back on the calendar. It's probably going to be still COVID dependent. And then big goal would be Pikes Peak in June. If we get selected and the car is ready, there's still a lot of ifs, but that happens, that would be a big goal of the season. And then going back to rally with NEFR in July. That's going to be our only ARA event of the year.
And we're hoping to do a few events in the fall in Canada.
Yeah, so...
Dafy, Charleroi and Tall Pines again.
And there is also possibly Black River Stages, who is going to return with US Rally Sports at the end of August. It's going to be called AGS Rally. So if it happens, we are going to possibly also try to do these events next year.
So we'll have a busy schedule for 2022.
Yeah, if hopefully all the events are happening and everything clicks, that will be another great season. Upgrades next year for the car. Nothing much, pretty much the same stuff except suspension. We
just got 2 sets of Samsonas.
Yep. So Samsung has full spec dampers with the hydraulic bump stop and stuff. So hopefully more control landing from the jumps, especially in the Princess. And
yes, Princess likes to jump.
we are looking for a great 2022 season. And thank you again for following us. There's probably still going to be a ton of tech videos also going through the year. This year we produced quite a bit between the new fire suppression systems and rally safe installation and stuff. We did a bunch of videos. Probably will continue to do that next year too. So thanks again for following us. Thanks again to all our sponsors. Coop, Kilo Bee, Subi Solution, Chobatech, and Roundly Auto, and our crew who has been following us all year is always there to help us at all the events. It's really a big family thing, and we hope to see you all next year. Happy holidays!
Take care. We'll see you next year.